You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV Sleepy Hollow After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Sleepy Hollow After Show.
Hey there, sleepyheads! Oh my gosh, I can't believe it! The Sleepy Hollow Season 1 finale is finally upon us. Holy crap, what a finale. It was so cool, so good. Can't wait to break it down. I am Matt Lieberman. We're talking about Season 1, Episodes 12 and 13, The Indispensable Man and Bad Blood. Joining me on the panel, of course, are the fantastic and talented Miss Jacque Borowski.
Hey.
And the hilarious Mr. Stephen Lemieux.
Hey guys, good to be here. Oh my god, the finale!
I know. That cliffhanger.
Oh
my
man.
God.
It was all the things you could want in a finale.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask though, like, if they didn't get renewed for a second season, like, this would just be like, what?
No, it would just be mean.
Yeah.
It would be mean.
It would be cruel. It would be absolutely barbaric of them to do it.
I mean, you could basically end the series at that and be like, well, that was kind of a downer.
They had like plot changes. They had zombie George Washington.
Yeah, zombie Washington.
What else could you want in a finale?
Power Rangers special effects sequences that seemed very cheesy but hilarious and good.
More of our favorite national treasure tropes where they find Washington's tomb in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
We're gonna steal the president of the United States. but Obama's like on the other side of the country. No.
The first president
of the United States.
We had some sweet John Noble monologuing. We had a bunch of flashbacks. We got Katrina in the flesh. Meow.
Oh, I have a whole spiel about that.
About how hot she is?
About how hot she is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all the men are loving that Katrina is back. Okay.
So there's in Fringe there's Walter and Walternate. So now there's Henry Parrish and what's his new thing, like Henry Warish?
Henry Warish? I mean, he's Jeremy. He's like Waramy maybe? Waramy Crane?
He's wearing me down.
Speaking of terrible puns.
We had a sweepstakes this season. We had a pun jar sweepstakes.
If you're just listening in now and this is your first Sleepy Hollow AfterBuzz podcast.
It's pretty much too late if you're just listening now. I tweeted out a trivia question last night during the live airing of the episode of Sleepy Hollow. I asked, what is the official ship name of Frank Irving and Jenny Mills, something that we've talked about a lot on this show.
And I want to say first, we're going to probably lay it in pretty heavy with the puns tonight, but we're capping it at $60, guys.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's become, is you get a free Xbox game, I guess, or whatever the, hell you
want
to buy for $60.
It's going to be PayPal to you by yours truly. So, you know, here on the show, so out in the world, Orlando Jones has officially coined Mr. and Mrs. Banff as the Frank and Jenny ship name. We here at AfterBuzz, however, have our own personal, terrible name that Steven came up with.
And we know, if you watch or listen to this podcast, we knew who you were when you tweeted us, whether you'd listened to this podcast before or you just found out, oh, $60, we can win that.
Right. Because if you listen to this podcast, you tweeted Fran Janicki Merlving. Disgusting. Disgusting name.
Fran Janicki Merlving.
But we have said Mr. and Mrs. Banff on this show before, and Orlando tweeted it, so we counted that
we counted both. So if you tweeted either one, you were entered into the drawing. Also, as well, if you were a Twitter follower of all three of us in AfterBuzz TV. And the person that we wound up choosing for the out of the random drawing,
we put them all inside of a body without a head
We shook it up.
We shook it up.
We did a time lapse of decomposition, and we shook it up. It was a baby, so it didn't. It was easy.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's barbaric.
No dead baby jokes.
Why would you do that? No. We put all the names.
Sorry,
in a hat.
I didn't want to bring up old Jeremy memories.
Oh, poor Jeremy. Not poor Jeremy. He's poor Golem, because Golem didn't even want to be alive. Stop it. So they're waiting to hear who won the dang contest. Okay?
Well, we're gonna delay it, just like Sleepy Hollow delayed our satisfaction of seeing what happens to Ichabod at the end of the episode.
And Abbie.
She's
really
still trapped in a dollhouse in purgatory.
I'm kidding. Wow, that face, Jacque.
My face was pained.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
My soul was pained.
Yeah, because, like, you know...
Notice none of us mentioned Katrina. BTW.
Actually, notice none of us mentioned Jenny, who's bleeding internally.
Oh, that's true. We know she's going to be fine, because she's part of Mr. and Mrs. Banff.
Frank, who's going to prison for murders that he didn't commit.
You guys really didn't see that coming, though, guys. Come on.
Well,
I didn't, actually.
I didn't see that coming.
Our winner.
Yeah. Can I say the winner? Okay.
Yes.
All right. The winner is one
Actually,
Mr.
I really want to talk to you about...
No! The winner of the Punjar sweepstakes for season 1 of Sleepy Hollow
will be announced right after this.
Is Mr. Ryan Kiesling.
All right, congratulations.
Congratulations to Ryan.
And for those of you who asked, people were asking me if we count spelling. As long as it sounds to the ear, because I know a lot of you, you're not watching it or seeing it written down. If it sounds to the ear when I said out loud, like Frangenically Merlving, Mr. and Mrs. Banff is easier to spell. But
did we count ones with an L missing in the Merlving?
Yeah, we count those.
I counted those.
Yeah.
It had to sound something like it.
We just didn't count Jerving because
we did not.
Jerving was kind of like my butler name. Like that's what I feel like if I ever have a butler.
Well, it wasn't mentioned on our show.
Not once on our show.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count. I'm sorry. As in any contest, there's always going to be some people, but like, no. Ryan Kiesling, he won the money. Get at me, Ryan, and I'll figure out how to get that to you. I've never done this before, so we'll figure it out. Cool.
We don't need your address. It's a metaphysical jar. It's not a real jar.
Not a real jar.
If you would like a real jar, there are very many of them at your local grocery.
You can use some of the $60 to buy a jar to put the rest of your money in.
If you tweet us a picture of $60 in a mason jar that says tip jar.
In a Freemason jar?
A Freemason jar.
Boom! Fun jar.
On it.
Yes.
Okay. Can we talk about the episode, please?
This episode's.
Yeah, these episodes both made an explosive finale, but two very different episodes. Okay, so the first one, I mean, let's break it down.
It was a setup. The first one was the setup.
It was all set up.
Yeah.
We found out what Washington's Bible was used for.
P.S. The date did actually mean he was a zombie. I was like, I did not, it's so funny. Coming. I did not see that coming, even though it was set up obviously for us.
Yeah, they told us that that's what it was. We didn't want to believe that there was a zombie George Washington, but now that there is one, I'm like, go you, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, zombie George Washington.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I just so wanted, when they got to the tomb, Steven and I watched together, and I'm like, oh my God, Washington's going to be alive inside the coffin. Washington's going to be alive inside the coffin. And then just George Washington is one of the characters on the show. I would have peed my pants. I would have loved that.
I love how, like, we see the skeleton in the coffin. I'm like, oh, another recast.
Oh, because they recast George Washington. The one that they used in the pilot and in all of the flashback sequences before looks more like George Washington, or at least as we've seen him portrayed in paintings and such. But they recast him with another guy who I guess is a better actor, maybe, or maybe they couldn't get the first guy because the first guy, he didn't like speak in the pilot. I don't remember. I don't think.
Yeah, maybe he was like a featured extra.
Yeah. They did do a nod to the George Washington wooden teeth, though. They say, oh, look at those ivories of gold and lead.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, all right, cool. His wife didn't like them.
They were the talk of the town or whatever.
Or, they were the everyone wanted them.
Yes.
Everyone was jealous. Everyone was envious of those teeth, those chompers. So they treat the Bible. We got Zombie Andy back.
Yes, and Zombie Andy became like uber evil caterpillar anti-butterfly Zombie Andy.
Yeah. Am I the only one who thought that Zombie Andy, after he did Chrysalis form, turned into like He looked like those speed skiers, like they have the helmets that go backwards.
Yeah.
And it looks like they just kind of put one of those helmets on him and then put fleshy stuff over it. And it was like, hey, you're going to be like this thing now.
See, I thought that he looked like Mewtwo from Pokemon or like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z. I'm just pulling out all like middle school
I sent an
nerd
Asari
references.
if anyone's a Mass Effect fan.
Yeah.
An Asari, he kind of
also
had
looked
that.
like an Asari.
I totally said, I think we made a DBZ reference while we were watching the show. I was like, oh, an eclipse. Why don't they just blow up the moon? It saved Gohan.
Yes, sir.
We're nerds.
I don't watch Dragon. I'm still a nerd, though.
No,
Just a different
Jackie,
kind of nerd.
you haven't lost your nerd cred. We know that you know more about Harry Potter than we ever will.
But you just haven't powered up for 30 episodes in a row. No.
Okay.
I'm going to go Punjar right on that. Cause
Okay.
I like Sailor Moon. It's a different kind of nerdiness.
I loved Sailor Moon as a kid. Okay?
Never watched it. All right, let's back.
Back to Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. So Andy breaks into Abby's apartment and then is shocked when Abby doesn't want him to be her new dead boyfriend. That's how I took that scene.
This is kind of how it went.
I love the zombie
Jackie.
Andy trying to be romantic.
I love you, Jackie, more than anyone you would know. But I'm dead, by the way, and I have a broken neck, and I probably can't get it up because I'm dead.
That's really creepy, zombie Andy.
Yeah. Also,
Please don't
date.
handcuff me.
yeah. Also, give us the map that we need, and you'll be able to be in a high seat in the new order if the world is dead, and I'll be your husband, and we'll be dead together, and I love you. No one loves you like I do.
I can buy you flowers.
So creepy.
Yeah.
And then it was so sad when she's in that scene in Purgatory, and it's like regular friend Andy, and she's probably like, my poor friend Andy turned into like a weird zombie creeper. Don't you hate it when that happens to your friends?
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of weird to see Andy there because I know like
he's all happy-go-lucky.
I know. He's like, hey, pie, hi.
Oh,
it's weird because you don't really see him in that light before in the beginning of the series. You
Yeah.
only see him as the
You
guy.
only see him.
So like.
Yeah.
I didn't really think that she had a kind of relationship where it would be normal for her to like, you know, have the apple pie.
She's
with
known
Andy.
him since high school, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
true.
because when they dropped the year, there's a yearbook, and
Yeah.
they look pretty young in the yearbook, maybe even before high school.
Oh yeah, no, it looked almost like a middle school
Yeah.
yearbook. Yeah, so he immediately is like, well, she doesn't want to be my girlfriend. Fine, make me your instrument. Pretty please, Moloch. And he turns into Mewtwo, and then he gets...
he's chased by like a plague of locusts, which I like that like biblical end of days reference.
Totally.
That was actually just a metaphor for being in the friend zone, is being surrounded by locusts surrounding you in silk.
When you're a zombie, though, you're pretty much going to be friend zoned.
It takes away all sexual
zoned.
attraction from anyone, and that's the friend zone. That's what Andy
pretty
was in.
much. So,
But when you've been
Except for that
when
movie-
you've been in the friend zone long enough,
Yeah.
you'll better yourself and emerge from it a very strong, powerful person. I mean, this whole show is just a metaphor right there.
A strong, powerful person that people want to shoot in the head and get away from.
yeah, and stab in the head, and apparently it doesn't do anything. But being blown up and crushed by boulders, I guess, works.
Styrofoam boulders.
Styrofoam boulders, which I'm just like, they must have saved like so much money for the actual finale for like episode 13, because you couldn't see the seams in there, but you could see the seams in episode 12.
I mean, I'm surprised that place fell apart, because aren't masons like the people who work with cement and like brick and stuff, like they build things well?
Hey, they shot the lever that was meant to make it all fall apart.
They're the Freemasons, so they're like, you don't really pay them, so they kind of do a shabby job.
If you're not watching this, you can't see how my eyes have rolled back into my freaking skull.
A world of no.
No, absolutely not.
He kind of looks like
Talking
John.
privileges
He
were
looks
revoked.
like John Noble Sin Eater style, which is like.
Yeah, exactly. He did. I want to talk about the dang show. So
That was about the show.
Andy also brings up to Abby the prophecy,
Yes.
the much ballyhooed prophecy about how
That Ichabod will deliver her to purgatory.
right, deliver her soul to Moloch.
Yeah.
And Abby just starts like being all distrustful of Ichabod for the whole episode, and I'm just like, stop it! You're making the prophecy happen. Thankfully, it was not her actions that led to the prophecy happening, and the prophecy happened, you know, out of her own sacrifice.
Right.
And that made me really happy, because I was going to be really bummed if Ichabod turned on her.
Right.
She was
And I mean,
convinced
in
that
a
it was gonna
way,
happen.
we find that he has an eidetic memory and he can.
Well, we've known that.
We did?
Yeah,
Oh.
we've known it all season.
Yeah, we knew it from the time they used the astrolabe and saw the map, and he's like, "Oh no, I can remember it now."
Yeah,
well,
he's really good at drawing maps from memory. He loves
super good
maps.
at it.
Yeah, he's the map man, the map master.
Maybe that's why George Washington had him as his like right-hand man, because he could draw maps from memory.
A cartographer bod.
Boy.
We got to get this to $60,
guys. A cartographer
guys.
bod with a sweet bod.
Yeah, baby.
So he draws the map, and after being all sads.
Oh my God. Oh wait, no, that's the next episode with the clothing. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, we can talk about it. They're both the same.
They're both the same.
Yeah.
So he draws the map, and he still decides that he's going to go to purgatory, even though he's burned the other map, which it was a dead giveaway when Henry. I was like, "What side are you on?" When he's like, "No, why are you burning the map?" You're like, "Why are you freaked out about that?"
Yeah. No, Moloch needs. I mean, you need the map. It wasn't a giveaway for me. I was still okay. I would have been surprised, but
don't call him out.
I'm not going to call it out. So here's the thing, folks. We love doing this show, and we love our fans. We have great fans here at AfterBuzz TV, and especially on this show, Sleepyheads are the best.
Yeah, they're the best fans ever.
Yeah. But here's the thing. We've said it many times over the course of the season. We don't watch the show live. We watch the show on Tuesday because we tape our after show on Tuesday, and we often ask fans, we know you love the show and you want to talk to us about the show. Don't tweet spoilers. Don't tweet at us about the episode because we haven't seen it yet.
I mean, you can tweet it. Just don't tweet it at us.
Just don't tweet it at us. Last night, I got no less than 3 tweets with explicit spoilers about the episode, and it kind of ruined my enjoyment of it. And as somebody who, you know, like, we all do this show, we do this after show because we love talking to you about Sleepy Hollow. We respect you, you know, respect us just a little bit more. You know, that's all I'm gonna say.
Help me. Help you.
Yeah.
Spoil it for me. I'm going to spoil it for you.
We do, however, have amazing fans, some of whom review us on iTunes.
Oh, yes.
I got them right here. All right, yo.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like everyone from January 15th onward. Let's give some shout-outs.
So, you always remember your first.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, I love that one.
By Fisigna. This was my first AfterBuzz podcast, and it's still my favorite.
What is this? What is this, folks?
I love listening to Matt and looking at Steven. I can't even do that with a straight face.
Did you say that?
No, that's in. That's in. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Because coming into this, Steve was like talking about flexing his muscles and stuff, so I wasn't sure. If
apparently, Fisigna thinks that he has great muscles.
Are funny
and
true
Jesus.
fans.
Jesus Christ.
So sad the show and the podcast end next week, but you can be sure I will be back for season 2, and you can be sure that we will too.
Yeah.
But are you sure if Ichabod will be?
I'm pretty sure he will be as the star of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it says guest star.
No, that's not what it says. Not what it says for him. Henry Parrish was a guest star. I'm wondering if he will be bumped up. And if Jenny will be bumped up. If
Jenny
she's
should
still
be
alive.
bumped up, and I bet she's still alive. There was actually speaking of fans, there was someone who said that they think Jenny will end up in purgatory, either to help or in Abby's place. I think that she'll end up there somehow to help her or in her place.
See,
something like that.
I feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened this week.
No,
it would have
because
happened
we have
before
to
the
have
end
a
of the finale.
cliffhanger.
Real quick though, guys. Jack JD, you guys are great. I love the show. Buffy VS, great.
Love your
amusing
name,
hosts.
Buffy VS,
There
by
you
the
go.
way.
Great amusing hosts that are perfectly suited to cover one of my favorite after shows. Can't wait to hear more next season. :0 Awesome. That's kind of a face. And I only say that because that's what Ichabod said in the first episode.
Yes,
With the phone.
it was
He's like,
adorable.
oh, it's a man's face.
Yes.
Clever.
Clever. Yeah.
And Brit K1, all the feels.
Yeah. Love it.
All
So
the
much
feels.
feels.
All the feels. Ichabod had so many wonderful bits in these 2
Jenny
episodes.
had so many wonderful bits.
Jenny had wonderful bits too.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
She said she's the one who said Zombie Washington.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she said
She called
Zombie
out
George
Zombie
Washington. She said, which one? Zombie Washington or Father of the Free World Washington? That cracked me up.
I loved when Ichabod's trying to use Abbie's phone because he wants a new one. Mm-hmm. He's got a flip phone, which I figured she gave him a flip phone because he wouldn't be able to figure out.
Yes, he wouldn't be able to figure out like an iPhone.
And it's nowhere near as comforting as Yolanda. Siri is nowhere near as comforting as
Yolanda.
Yolanda.
Love the throwback to earlier this series.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of great callbacks. I mean, even just like the line in Purgatory when Sheriff Corbin's digging into the pie, he's like, when the hot crispy crust and the cool ice cream mix together, you know, like that's a straight callback right back to the pilot. Love that. Love that Victor Garber was in this episode.
Yes, and he ate a piece of a cup.
He ate sugar glass.
My Faja. Yeah,
Yes.
dude, that was great. And it's like sugar glass, corn syrup. That dude was probably on a sugar high all night. But that, I mean, the black eyes with the sugar glass and the corn syrup. I mean, these are all special effects you guys can do when you make movies so easily. All you need is the contacts and you need the two things. Like, that's so easy to do, and they do it so well.
Yeah, they do it so well.
It's like they use the tricks and they use the great things about it to make it good.
Yes. I, for one, thought that Washington's tomb would be more dusty inside.
I thought also...
It looked very clean.
Yeah, and the other thing was, for all the hiding he does to have it like behind this and the mechanisms before getting it, you walk down and there's a giant, what looks like Disney-sized Masonic symbol on the wall. And I'm like, really? You did all this to hide it? And the first person who maybe might, like, even if they get past, like, the rock turning zone, and they get down there, do you really want to alert them that they have indeed come to the right place? I mean, I know there's a pyramid there, but it was just, like, so cheesy.
If I'm hiding a super secret tomb, I want people to know when they finally found it, stop what you're doing. You found my secret tomb. You don't look any further. You got it. You found the one.
But I'm still going to hide my body behind a different wall.
Right.
Yes. Well, you got to.
Yeah.
It's a tomb.
Does anybody else think that, okay, Buffy reference, 21 minutes in, Sleepy Hollow is like the Hellmouth. George Washington, not buried in any other place but Sleepy Hollow. The magical, mystical, like, convergences to where you can get to Purgatory is in Sleepy Hollow.
It's on one of the ley lines. The magical ley lines that all lead to Sleepy Hollow. It's not on a Hellmouth.
It's where the two parallel universes are overlapping, and Walter Bishop is going to come out of one of them.
It's not Fringe either.
It's not.
It's its own show. We love it for what it is, not for what other shows may bring to the table. Okay? It is not.
Other shows have influenced this type of show.
And it has made it the crazy, wonderful, wild ride that it is.
Yes.
The Mr. Toad's wild ride of television shows.
I totally think we're going to see Ichabod's father again, because they went into a lot of detail with, like, his father's views when he betrayed the... When he turned... When he went turncoat.
And you don't cast Victor Garber if you're only going to see him once.
That's very true.
Yeah. He's just an amazing, amazing actor and performer, crazy musical theater background, and then also, of course, Alias, we can't not talk about.
And he looks like my friend Bridget's dad, which is totally not like anything.
All right, so I guess...
shout out to Bridget's dad.
Yeah, all right, so we talked about...
If they run out of Victor Garber budget, they can hire Bridget's dad.
Yeah, all right, so we brought up Bridget's dad. I guess that's all for the podcast, right?
I mean, that's what happened at the end, right?
Where can they find you? Mean.
That happened at the end of the episode, though. Bridget's dad... Yeah, that was the cliffhanger. Bridget's dad.
No, it wasn't. Mean. Okay, sorry, Jackie. We don't want to be mean to you.
Sorry, I accidentally a podcast.
You jerk. Okay, so
Internets.
They get the map. They burn the map. He draws another map. End of part 1. Okay, part 2.
Wait, I have to say my favorite line in part 1, which is, "I have more than faith. I'm a mental patient with a gun."
I loved that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I love her. She has a great sense of humor.
Yeah, Jenny's super funny. Yeah. She's remarkably well adjusted considering her very hard life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the hard knock life.
No. For us, being on a podcast with you.
Fighting Moloch.
I'm not going to join.
Did everyone like the obvious Lazarus reference as well?
Yes. Love the Lazarus reference.
Yeah, Lazarus. We loved. I loved that Ichabod got to change clothing without changing anything.
Yes. And he got to see reenactors, which is what I had thought was going to happen when they went to that place, that Roanoke. Yeah. I thought when they did the previous for Roanoke, I thought it was going to be reenactors, and this time there were actual reenactors, and I was like, "Foo, yes, actual reenactors!" And
it was that one girl who's like in a bunch of commercials now. She was in that Sprint commercial with the zombie. That was the girl that he met. Anyway, he's like, "You sell clothes." Well, and of course he picks the one shirt that's going to reveal even more chest hair than his normal shirt.
I love that. He's like, well, why don't you give away your other clothes and let somebody wear it ironically?
Yeah. Yes! That was also
maker
funny
of artisanal marmalade.
I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's like our hipster conversation for the last episode.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Fun fact, Tom Meissen watches this podcast, I hope.
I wish.
Fun fact, not a fact.
And we forgot to mention that Irving basically fesses up for
I mean, I was going to get to that later, but we can talk about it. No, it's fine. It's fine, Jackie. We can talk about whatever you want, because as that one reviewer once said, you do run this podcast.
Bam!
Just like we're your shadow puppets.
Well, I mean, we have kind of like two storylines that are similar at this point, though. And this is going to be a totally terrible pun, but at the same time, it's true, because we have like the one storyline with Ichabod, Abbie, and John Noble and all them.
Henry Parrish.
They're between like the earth and a spinning rock and a hard place with what they're going through. And then we have Jenny and Frank, which are between a rock and a hard place. Like, what's he going to do? He just took the rap for this. The guy knows.
He's going to jail,
Yeah, the guy knows he didn't do it, but he says evil. And it's just like... And there was a powerful line when Jenny's like, okay, well, you're talking to somebody who got locked away in a mental institution for telling the truth. So you really think that he's going to get out if you tell them what's going on?
Yeah.
I feel like Jenny, I mean, I really feel that Jenny can't be dead. I would be so miserable if she was dead, because I don't feel her story's done.
But here's the thing.
And I feel like she might come and bust him out, because it's like, that's what she does.
That way they can wind up together. On the run together.
Oh, we totally forgot about one part of the first episode.
Which part?
The rosary.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Knapp.
And
callbacks on callbacks.
And guys,
we did wonder where Reverend Knapp had come from, and now we know. He was part of the person who made Zombie Washington.
But also, I wanted to say one thing, is that it makes sense now
why the
rosary burned him so badly.
Yeah, it's not a hex. It's the fact that he's evil. He's evil, so of course rosary beads would burn him, and that's why he was willing to just do it, because he was so desperate to make his plan come off and meet his mother and taunt her and give her to Abraham. That douche.
I have a whole nother question about that, because
Do it.
So she mentions that he is the one who told her about the Sin Eater. Wouldn't that come up before she was like chained to a tree at the end? You know, I think it's kind of...
What do you mean?
Because she doesn't confront him about him bringing her that information.
She didn't recognize him. He maybe changed his form.
Oh.
Well, it's mostly just that he told her of the Sin Eater, but she didn't know that he was the one helping them, and it didn't really help. She just had to tell them to find the Sin Eater. And
our Sin Eater's a real thing. That's my other thing. Because did he just make that up as a thing to try and meet them? Or is Sin Eater still a real thing? Is that even something he does? Or was he actually like cursing people that he was...
No, I think he actually did do it. I mean, being a warlock and being evil, he can take on more evil than other people can. You know, and I guess he still was doing good deeds all his life, taking sins from people, just waiting around.
I'm not so sure. I'm honestly not so sure. Because
and then what happens with the whole fact that they said he changed his name several times before he came to Henry Parrish?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I think he bounced around on names and things like that. But at the same time, I think the weird thing is that everything he says is told through video. So we see that. Like, everything he says is told like by showing us it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it can still be lies.
Right.
Because, I mean, even in this episode, he dreams of the horseman being pulled up, but that's more of a memory for him. So why would he at that moment be like alarmed and call them when he knows that that's him?
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Explain that point again.
He was alarmed and like, remember, it's an emergency, guys. We have to talk.
Well, he was pretending, so
exactly.
We know he's pretending.
So like
to be
everything he says, even though they show it to us as he's saying, like as if this was true. Like they're showing us it filmed as if he's speaking the truth. It doesn't mean necessarily.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't. We can't trust his viewpoint. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Just got a couple tweets from Eric Olin. He's a fan of the show. He said mention Ichabod with cell phone, which we did, and he also said give ourselves an air point for knowing that Jeremy was still involved even after being buried alive. We predicted that a few weeks ago. Give ourselves a point. I think we deserve it. Point to us.
Point taken.
Point taken. All right, so we finally get to purgatory. I want to talk about purgatory. Can we talk about
There
purgatory?
was no prom.
There was no prom. First of all, that's our first problem. Not really a problem with purgatory.
It was a lot creepier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was a way creepier purgatory than we'd ever seen.
Like they used real amputees as extras in that.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, like you could tell. Like one of the guys crawling on the ground, he was.
Oh yeah, he was an amputee.
He was an amputee.
Yeah, real amputees. One dude was like dragging around an anchor or something.
Yeah, it was like a those.
It looked like a giant
You
sextant.
sow the fields with them, but it looked like a very purgatory-esque one. Like
okay.
Evil one.
Yeah, but just everybody's miserable
Evil
and
farm tools.
crawling around through the woods, trying to get into the church, which I guess only Katrina can get into the church. I guess everyone else is just outside the church.
I know, everyone else is
clawing at the church, but I can't go inside. Why?
I also find it interesting that because Henry Parrish, a.k.a. Sin Eater, a.k.a. Ichabod's son.
A.k.a. Jeremy.
A.k.a.
War.
A.k.a. War.
What is it?
He mentions to them that you're going to have to face these situations that you think are real and they're testing you. I wonder, part of me wonders, like, are those people in that, like, wooded area, are they experiencing not the woods or are they experiencing something else? Because I still feel like that point where Abbie fell into the grass and Ichabod found her, I still feel she was experiencing the end of her, like, dream reverie before he, like, snapped her out of it.
Sure.
So maybe they're just continuously, and maybe because Katrina's a witch and because she knows where she has some sort of cognizance that these people don't have, maybe she is able to...
Shaking my head. It's the medallion. She gave it to her.
Oh yeah, it protects her from Moloch.
But at the same time, I think that was also all part of the plan in that it really didn't protect her from Moloch. It was against him, but he probably knew that she would have to switch with Abbie, and that's why he's after Abbie now.
Yeah.
Well, but
he always wanted Abbie.
He's always wanted her for 13 years.
And we find out that it was 13 years since War had been resurrected. So he's been around for 13 years.
Yeah, and that's what Abbie and Jenny saw that day. We finally found out.
That's another biblical number, 13.
Yeah, 13.
67. What was the 67 in?
Oh, gosh. Don't ask me.
Lazarus 67. And then we had the 67 earlier in the season, and I can't remember where it was.
Yeah, I don't remember. 67. I got a terrible brain for numbers.
Oh, I love the reference, though, like, oh, this is mighty good stitching. I used to date a seamstress. What'd you do?
Oh, yes.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross.
How did you know? I mean, I guess at this point with
jokes.
Ichabod, just assume. Yeah. Just assume that he
hooked up with every historical figure that is a lady.
That is a female. Gonna get female. Historical style.
Can I go on my rant about Katrina now?
Please do.
So
and fans loved your bouffant hair, boobies and bouffant hair full of secrets.
They really did.
They really did.
I do have to give some of that to Mean Girls because her hair is full of secrets is a throwback to me. It's all the Mean Girls.
They know.
Some of them don't. I don't know.
Katrina is not a mean girl. She is a nice
girl. She is Regina George.
Okay.
Anyway. See, here is my whole thing with her.
Okay.
She's like Princess Toadstool.
Okay, continue.
That's a interesting way of starting a speech.
She supposedly has some powers, but most of the time she just gets captured and taken places. And her powers to me aren't even that strong. It's like if your powers I don't know. I feel like if her powers were stronger, she would be able to do more, or be able to, when she was thrown up by her son against the wall, she would be able to fight him back. She's supposed to be his equal. She's his mom.
Well, no, they made a point to say, that she had just gotten out of purgatory and her powers were not at full strength. She could barely do the locating spell.
I just dislike, like, as a woman, her character is so boring to me because she spends most of her time moping around and being thrown places. It's like she's a plot device rather than a person. Yeah. And
I'm giving you some speech music.
Oh, thank you. And it's hot in here. Jesus.
This is not a ploy for your attention.
Oh, this is blowing heat.
This is not a ploy for your attention, male fans. That could have been.
I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's not very
sultry
cute.
Music, and then oh boy, it's hot in here. That was not an attempt.
I'm not wearing. I'm wearing more like an Abbie
No,
shirt.
she is wearing. Not wearing, is wearing.
I'm wearing a normal shirt. I'm not wearing like a bustier.
Yeah, she's not Katrina.
Not Katrina, very much so. And that's another one of my pet peeves. I think one of the reasons why I don't like Katrina so much is because they have her done up to be this, like, you know, this very, very attractive woman who really doesn't say and or do anything interesting, which is why this is part of the reason why I'm such a hardcore Ichabod shipper.
Right, because she's tough, she's smart, she takes care of herself, she doesn't need a man.
Yeah, when you're a fan and you're a girl and you're watching it, you're like, I would identify with Abbie because she's smart, she's clever, she's funny, she's a well-rounded character, she kicks butt, she doesn't need a man, she's strong, she sacrifices herself.
Katrina didn't do anything except, save his life, put a hex on him, make him live, and, hide her son, fight against the
But then it's like for 200 years she just sits around moping. If you're that strong, you would do something better.
Well, she's like a Taylor Swift that doesn't write songs. She loses a guy and just mopes about it for 200 years.
That's not it either.
I think that is, because Abbie would not do that. And I bet you Abby's going to use her time in purgatory wisely, very wisely.
Okay, I agree with that prediction. But here's the thing. Moloch is an extremely powerful demon, okay? Who knows if Katrina really even had that much power in purgatory? I feel like it's wrong to judge her, but it is also, I think, a valid point that Abbie is a stronger female character, a stronger woman, and maybe might be more in line with who Ichabod is and who he deserves as a partner.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, okay, I see your point, I validate your point, but also I don't condemn her for being in purgatory, trapped in purgatory, okay?
I mark my words. We're going to see Abbie use her time in purgatory more wisely.
Okay.
She's going to use her brain, too, and that's the other thing. It's like sometimes when that other time that she faced the Sandman, it was like a facade. She had to figure out how to mentally battle him, not so much.
Stop right there. I came up with something.
Okay.
Because we were going into older episodes anyway. Jenny is in a coma, which people have perceived as a coma being akin to purgatory. Mm-hmm. So Jenny ends up in a coma in the car, and that's where she meets Abbie, and they actually use the same actress for Jenny, but she basically is Abbie through her body.
What?
Basically, Abbie wakes up in Jenny's body.
Whoa.
I would like to see that.
That's what I see happening.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I think the reason that they put her in a coma, because they wouldn't make a point of you having to be near death to go to purgatory if they weren't going to use it again.
That's
there you
cool.
Go.
I like
Which, by
theories.
the way, do you like how he, like, now looking back, you're like, oh, there's so many, like, really sinister things that Henry Parrish did. Like,
oh, yeah, there's so much depth to when he chokes him near to death.
I mean, he tried to kill Ichabod, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told him that he had to. He told him that he has to die. Mm-hmm. He chokes him near to death. I mean...
Yeah. No.
And this is the whole time him knowing it's his father.
Yeah, and I'm so pleased that we're getting more depth out of John Noble's character. He's such a great actor. You know, I won't say he was being wasted as Henry Parrish, but compared to, like, some of his previous work, it wasn't as, like, cool. Having him be a villain, having him be powerful and, like, evil is totally rad. And I'm so excited to see what he does in season 2.
I'm so happy I deleted my Twitter off my phone. Like, honestly, I was just
smart.
like, I'm not going to I'm not going to spoil anything.
You're a smart cookie.
Because as much as I kind of, like, I knew this was a possibility, like, that Henry was involved kind of thing like that, I mean, I didn't want to know before I watched it. Because I'm not unlucky like Matt.
So he named himself Henry after the church, and then I love how the last name was just Parish, like a church.
Yeah.
I thought that was
St.
cute.
Henry's Parish.
Yeah.
And I loved his like weird like wackadoo delivery on, and I named myself after the church, after the saint, to spite him.
Yes!
He's like doing this almost like mustache twirly villain thing.
He turned into Walternate. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, Walternate was like super cold
he
and
turned into
icy
Walter.
and businessy.
But I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it. And then, but the only, there's another thing that I thought where if he's so mad and spiteful against his parents and he wanted his mom to go to purgatory, why would you let this happen where she gets out?
So that he can give her to Death, so Death will hand over the second seal. And so that the witnesses are separated. They're not in the same plane, making it possible to break the second seal.
So Death is going to turn into Meryl Streep because Death will become her.
I hate you.
Does that mean Henry Parrish is Goldie Hawn?
I hate you so much, Stephen.
Dude, I'm connecting the dots here, man.
This was my other pet peeve with that whole scenario. I had and I like that you guys are answering my questions and making me feel better about these things.
Okay.
And this is the one though that I'm also sticking on. So when you're in purgatory, you don't have a corporeal form.
Right.
Like I feel like if you're gonna leave to go to purgatory, your body cannot physically leave this realm to go into the next realm. So Katrina should have a physical body somewhere.
That's dead and rotting.
That's dead and rotting. What I would have liked to have seen as a fan would see her...
Is her dead and rotting.
Is her dead and rotting. So Ichabod would have to face the fact that his wife, because he was preserved on purpose.
Right.
She, I don't think, would have been.
Right.
So
Look,
she would have to be
got
reunited to her dead body.
Right.
Her soul would have to be reunited to her body, and then she would be zombie Katrina.
Here's what I'm going to say to that. Okay?
Did they burn Katrina? Like, do we know for a fact they burned her?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, then let me handle this. Let me handle this question, man.
Right,
Man,
okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and wrangle this one down.
As long as you do it in a voice, you can do it.
I'm gonna take this one down. Okay. So what's going on with this picture is there's a gateway where you can traverse the line between purgatory and between the real world. Yeah. Okay. So Moloch has a corporeal form, and he can take Katrina and he can just take her through that boundary.
But so he only takes a corporeal.
I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna put a pin in that. And while we're tackling this, I'm gonna just take Katrina in this form, and I'm going to put her in a purgatory. So now we got corporeal Katrina, can't even say her name right, in a purgatory, ready for the purgatory prom.
So you're...
I'm going to tackle that.
I appreciate the purgatory prom reference. But here's what I'll say, tagging on to that. I like a lot of what he said. Here's just, can I, please?
Oh, God.
Listen.
So frustrating.
No. He's assuming that he took a corporeal Katrina into purgatory. I'm not going to say that. I don't know that necessarily happened. But it's the difference between having a doorway into purgatory where you can just walk through it, walk in and walk out, making a corporeal body, versus a spell freeing the soul from purgatory. So if it was a spell, I could see your point where it has to be a soul that has to rejoin the body. But since it's a doorway, and you just walk through it, I feel like that kind of precludes any kind of like spiritual ghosty soul thing. I feel like if you can walk in and walk out, you can walk out with a body.
See, I feel like Ichabod and Abbie walked in and walked out through a door.
With a body.
But she
walked out through that same door.
Yeah, but the problem is her body... They had physical bodies as they went in.
Right.
I don't feel like she had a physical body as she went in.
Maybe she doesn't have organs.
So it's like she has to come out and get that physical body. She has to retrieve it.
Maybe she doesn't have organs. Maybe she can't eat or drink, and maybe she'll live forever. We don't know. We'll find out in season 2.
They just did not want to make her into a zombie
Because
for whatever reason.
We already had a zombie character. We had George Washington zombie.
And we had zombie Andy. We can't have everyone be zombies. This is only season 1.
Why can't there be any female zombies? What is this?
She's right. For the rights of all women everywhere, they should have just as many zombies as the men.
Well, there. Any Left 4 Dead fans will know that there was the crying witch. All right. And
yeah, we had that faceless naked lady.
The faceless naked lady. I mean, there you go. We were wondering if she'd be hot or not, and
we had that witch in episode 2 who set everything on fire. She was dead and
Notice the male
gross.
zombies don't have to be attractive, except for Headless, who happens to be inexplicably attractive from the neck
He's
down.
buff. He's a buff dude. Yeah, but as far as Katrina goes, we like her just the way she is. That's not exactly the words of the song.
Yeah.
I meant to do it better and tee it up better. I didn't. Moving on. Great. Great, great, great. So
girl, you've got corsets.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to.
I mean, for some Abbie appreciation here, she had some really hot outfits. She had this great jacket on, and then she had this running like Lululemon top in the other scene, and they were really nice. And she has a great figure.
Look, I have enough. Listen, I am a big fan of Abbie Mills. I am a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the actress that portrays her. She was in the movie Shame, and she totally got naked.
Her name is Nikki Bahari.
Nikki Bahari got naked in Shame, and I'm not ashamed of how I feel about her scenes in that movie.
We're kind of getting off and topic. Sorry.
Getting off topic. Please don't let the fans know that you're getting off to hearing me talk.
Hand check, guys. Hand check, guys. But
gross. What is this? Is this
we don't have much time. We don't have much time left.
Also, the doorway into Purgatory looks like the same doorway into the world beyond worlds, like Purgatory, Heaven situation on Angel. Just saying. Go back and watch Angel.
Your mouth.
Looks like the
Minus
same thing.
the really cool mirror effect. I like that with the shattered glass.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
That was really cool. I like that.
Okay, how much time do we have, Steven?
Let's say 10 to 15.
10 to 15?
I'll say that, even though we'll be going over, but like...
Okay. So, do we want to do predictions now and then the special segment?
What's our special segment?
What is our special?
I don't know. I thought we were doing...
Oh, yeah, we can do it. But
yeah.
There's like no lyrics to that song.
I wasn't told... Oh, I wasn't told
Yeah,
about
she was
it.
told.
You were told. But yeah, so... Yeah, you know what? Let's go. Let's just go with the predictions. Let's just do some predictions, all right?
And now...
What's the matter you? We just want to do some predictions.
You're the matter me, okay? You's a matter me.
I matter to you, Matt?
I'm a mad at you because you a mad at me, okay?
I'm mad at you because you don't matter to me.
Stop it. We don't have enough time.
Are you guys going to make pizza after this?
No, we're not going to make pizza. We made pizza earlier.
Wait, I didn't get pizza either.
Well, that's because you weren't here all day. Jesus. Okay. Predictions. So we've got this epic cliffhanger. We have Abbie still trapped in the dollhouse in purgatory. Moloch still after her. We have Ichabod buried in a pine box 6 feet deep where his son Jeremy was trapped for 200 years. Jeremy is free. He's released. He's cracked the second seal. War has not just come to Sleepy Hollow. It's been here the whole time. And Jenny is in a coma. Frank's going to jail.
I do like the idea of War playing crossword puzzles, though, while he's waiting for whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Puzzle. Oh, I loved all those like little reveals and like all the hints. I loved that.
By the way, War, the fucking pardon my French, the horseman with like invisibleness, badass.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that was
so
super
cool.
badass.
Very badass.
So cool.
They
so
just
cool.
used like the rest of their budget on that. They're like, hey, special effects guy,
with a flaming
you
sword.
just put this cash in your coat and make this look good.
Yeah. Hey baby, why don't you go run along and make me a cool horseman? Yeah.
Somebody on the Mary Sue actually wrote that because when you think about it, it's like, okay, so Abraham, the first horseman, is somebody that is pissed off by Katrina and Ichabod, and then their son is pissed off by them. Like they were saying, who like is the third horseman going to be somebody else that they pissed off?
Well, we still have, Conquest we met briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it could be someone that they pissed off because they've been around since the Roanoke colony. And the last horseman we haven't met yet. So I don't know.
I feel like, for my prediction, I feel like the next season is going to be, well, obviously they've got so much to reconcile, but I think a big part of it is going to be, okay, we have these 2 horsemen, we need to now stop the other ones.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we've only got 2 seals left. 2 seals left and 6 years left.
I thought it was 7 seals, though.
Oh, is it 7
That's
seals?
what I'm confused about, because there's 4 horsemen, but I thought there were 7 seals.
We may be thinking about the Ingmar Bergman movie, The Seventh Seal.
I mean, let's say there's 7 seals because
there's 7 years
hey guys,
of the show.
It's season 2. Break the 2nd seal.
Yeah.
Let's just break the 2nd seal on this show, you know? Like, there you go.
Yeah, well,
What it's also interesting to me about this show is, okay, now we know they've set it up because they have a 7-season trajectory. And within that, I love this idea of it's this kind of macabre idea that you can't, as much as they're going to fight it, they're not going to be able to actually fight it till the end, because they're going to keep having the levels of the apocalypse coming at them, and
we're going to break all the seals.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to break all of them until they try to protect against the last one.
Yeah. Well, they have to figure out how to defend against Moloch once we have all these seals broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that fighting Jeremy is going to be a big part of season 2. I mean, they have to get out of these situations that they stuck in. I hope that they have a cliffhanger at the end of every season. I love that they ended on a cliffhanger, and that everything wasn't just like wrapped up. But here's the other thing, right? Pardon me, I'm getting over a cold, so like my nose is all stuffed. Hate it. Here's the thing. If the show only airs 13 episodes a year, and the show takes place over the course of 7 years, but it ends on a cliffhanger, when we come back, it's going to pick up right where we left off, and we're not going to be able to, like, skip the rest of the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to handle the passage of time in this series if we're going to end on a cliffhanger at the end of each season.
Or maybe, you know, maybe...
What if there's, like, a time jump between some seasons later on, or, like, in the middle of a season?
Cool.
Like, like...
And then you see, like, advanced stages of apocalypse-ness.
Yeah. You know, skip over 2 years, and they're just, like, battle-worn and weary. And, you know, we don't even see the Ichabod courtship. They're just together, and it's a huge shocker.
I'd like to see more effect on the rest of the world through what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see the effect of having war reign free for a while and see what happens from that.
Yeah.
Because we saw Pestilence could already, like, take out a bunch of people. I want to see what war does. And I also think that, like, I feel like we're going to get maybe a time lapse of time, like maybe a month or 2, 6 months or something. Yeah. With Ichabod's been under the ground for this whole time.
Yeah, we have to, I feel like we're going to have to, it can't be instantaneous, because we're going to have to see what his reaction is versus, not that he's going to be under as long as Henry Jeremy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so not used
It's
to
okay.
By any means. But I feel like we need to see that as kind of like a penitence for what happened to his son. Like, he's going to be in the ground for a while.
Oh, so then we could technically pick up, 8 months from now.
See how Abby's dealing with, learning what she's learning from being in the dollhouse.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't have any conception of the passage of time, and Ichabod's just trapped under the ground.
Yeah.
So if she somehow gets out, and
time has passed. That would be interesting.
This is going to be so terrible, but if they use this, I will laugh so hard. How do they find Ichabod? They use the Find My iPhone app, because he's like got the smart. He's been walking around with the smartphone. If they find him by the freaking Find My iPhone,
that would be amazing. And I love how they're looking for purgatory using the map app.
Yeah,
they're like,
it's like, you have arrived at purgatory, or you have arrived at purgatory,
at the door to purgatory,
at Washington's tomb.
You show up to the purgatory prom without a limo, Ichabod.
Disgusting. One thing just popped into my head. You were talking about war being released, and in the first part, they're talking about the atom bomb, and he's like, it stopped the world war, and the way he said it was so chilling, and now I realize why.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's what stopped him the last time, like World War II was maybe he was on the Earth at that point.
I think they were alluding to that, but I don't think they'll go into that at all.
Okay.
But it was fascinating. It is fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Okay.
And they're going to need to find some way to get Captain Irving out of
All right, guys,
jail.
let's speed this up.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to be the main point of next season, Jackie? Go.
The main point.
Like, what's going to be the main?
I think it's going to be along similar lines of they have to rescue Princess Toadstool
Again.
from Headless, again, and then, I mean, I feel that Abbie is probably not going to be stuck there that long. You can't have your main character stuck there for very long.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the next one is to stop the next horseman. So I feel their efforts are going to be concentrated towards that because you can't reverse the first two. So
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, go.
Well, now that we've got these seals and we know that they're actual physical things, I think it's going to be getting Katrina back, but also finding the other seals to prevent them from being broken.
Like finding Horcruxes.
Exactly. I think they have to track down these seals to make sure that they don't get broken. Jeremy is still going to be hanging around. Maybe it's finding a way to fight Jeremy and to trap him back in the ground and bind him once again. And don't we still have Headless's head still in the mix somewhere?
Somewhere.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still going?
No, that's what I got.
Okay. Frank turns himself in. It sparks intrigue in people. Some people get interested. Frank is actually introduced to the Illuminati / Freemasons, and the Freemasons are in.
The Freemasons help him out, you think?
They've been waiting for something to happen, and they haven't been alerted to what's going on in Sleepy Hollow because they were all killed. Remember, they're lantern heads.
Yeah.
Frank's going to be the one to find Ichabod in the ground, and Jenny's going to be doing some things about Jenny.
We all agree that Jenny's alive, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think she's in
alive.
coma though.
Someone tweeted at me, so now that Jenny's dead,
I don't think she's dead.
and I'm like, and this is like as we're watching
she's
part
one of the best characters on
and
the
I'm
show.
like, Jesus, yeah, I know she can't be dead.
Also, on that note, I know this drives fans crazy, and I'm so sorry, but I still think that Abbie and Jenny are the witnesses.
Okay,
I still think that.
I'm down with that.
Because why else because they keep saying that they were sent, both of them were sent there to the grave site.
But he also said only one of the witnesses was there, and she wasn't strong enough.
Who said that?
Jeremy did.
Yeah.
We can't trust anything Jeremy
not
says.
Jeremy. Abbie's memories. Abbie's memories said. He said they even said. Jeremy said they even sent a witness to stop me. And then Abbie's memories
But Jeremy started that train.
Okay.
We can't trust him.
Yeah, we can't trust that. But at the same time, I
Fine.
think we're going to see probably not angels, but seraphs or something like
Yes!
that. Something similar to that coming up in the next season.
Cool.
Because there has to be. There's always a light when there's a dark, and
Yeah, we
there's
need
always
forces of light,
there's always a Frangenicky Merlving when there's an Ichabie. So,
brother.
all right, I think that's pretty much our show.
I think so too. And thank you to
Thank
everybody.
you guys for watching us all season. We had a great time.
Listening all season. We had a blast talking to you. You rock. Go
I think
you.
we set the record for most reviews in one season, honestly, on iTunes.
Yeah.
So make it like 130 by the end of the week, and we will totally love you. We're
You
gonna
guys are
send
amazing.
$60 to that guy.
Yeah,
Forgot his name.
to Ryan
Ryan
Kiesling.
Kiesling.
Congratulations. And of
Congrats.
course, Punjar Sweepstakes will be back next season.
If we can afford it.
We can afford it.
So yeah, war.
Huh.
Good God, y'all.
Yeah, let's
Your
let's
Nick Cage impressions kill me, and then
That wa-
yours do too because they're so silly.
mine are way worse than his, and his aren't any good.
We're gonna steal 7 Horcruxes, kid. We're gonna bury him in a temple, but a fake tomb with a Greek guy on a big coin on a wall. But it's not gonna be Barry Wade. And then we're gonna watch Power Rangers.
Do you know Nick Cage has actually bought a pyramid? He has a pyramid tomb ready for him in New Orleans, so he has almost his own like
great.
Masonic tomb.
Did you know that Nick
Are we
Cage was
not-
in
are-
Glee Club?
No.
I'm kidding, he's not.
Wait, are we not doing the song?
Oh, we can't do the song.
All right,
We gotta
fine.
wrap it.
We were gonna do a funny version of that song "War."
It's the hollow life for us.
Stop it. Okay, Jackie Borowski, where can the people find you?
At 123 Jackie_B on Twitter and at 123 Jackie B, all one word on Instagram.
Instead of Sandman, we get Rock and Run Tail.
Stop it.
Rock and Run
Steven, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me right there. I don't even
Did
know
you
how to
just
do this.
point to your crotch?
No, I'm pointing
You
at my
can find
name.
Steven in his crotch.
At You can find me so into myself on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, or hosting the Helix After Show. Let's talk about Ziz.
Yeah, people. And monkeys. I'm also on that
and
show.
Under the Dome will be this summer, and I'm going to be on Drag Race.
Orphan Black.
Orphan Black. We're doing Orphan Black.
All three of us are going to be doing Orphan Black this spring. If you haven't seen it, it's on BBC America.
It's amazing.
It's an amazing show.
I
Come
wonder
out
if
for that.
Jeremy was like, it's my dad in a box.
Funny.
Where can we find you, Matt? Quick.
You can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, MattLieberman, and all over the place here on AfterBuzz TV. Helix, which you should totally watch. Banshee, Justified, Almost Human, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think we got Lost Girl coming up, Sherlock for a couple of weeks, Doctor Who's coming back in the fall, but we're also doing Doctor Who Classics, Orphan Black in the spring. I'm everywhere, and I love you all. Good night, sleepyheads.
See you next season.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good night, sleepyheads.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.